Hello, Mom and Dad Meet World viewers. So I want to talk about this computer right here. This is the M3 MacBook Pro. It has the M3 Max chip in there. It does have the factory configuration from Apple. It is the unbinned CPU, unbinned GPU, so 16 CPU cores, 40 GPU cores, 48 gigs of memory, and a 1 terabyte solid state drive. So what has been up with this computer for about a month's worth of use using the new Mac OS Sonoma and also using Final Cut Pro 10.7. I just wanted to give you some things that were surprising, but yet things that were not very surprising, that were very unsurprising in a good way. So let's talk about the size first. So as you can see here, it is a large computer. You feel the heft, you feel the size. Especially feel it when I load it into a backpack or I carry a laptop sleeve, and you definitely do feel it. But I am instantly reminded that when I put it down on the desk in front of me or the table or my lap, I do love having that larger screen. And especially when it comes to using this computer right here, this is the 13-inch MacBook Pro M1, and this is a really nice computer. It is very compact. You hardly even feel this computer at all in a backpack or a laptop sleeve. The cool thing about this computer is if we are in the car and I do need to carry a computer, this will slide right underneath my seat, out of sight, and you can't even tell you even have the computer on you. Sometimes I can't even tell so much I will leave the computer there overnight because I forgot I had even left it there. So that could be a good thing or a bad thing. But yeah, this computer's got the 13-inch screen compared to the 16-inch screen. Very much so different. And it's even thicker here with this case. But I do love having that larger screen on the bigger MacBook. So the other part is the battery. Battery life has been unbelievable. It's actually been quite phenomenal. So if I'm just checking email, browsing the web, doing my everyday Microsoft Office task here and there, my work stuff, it will go hours on end, it feels like, before it even drops below 90%. So even if I'm editing 1 or 2 videos on Final Cut Pro and I get done with that project and I close it out and I'm back to my normal day-to-day web browsing, it still will last for hours at a time. I'm not using high power mode, I'm not using low power mode, I'm just running it on automatic, and it seems to do really well. A nice balance between power and performance. So let's talk about performance. I'm sitting over here at my desk. I've got the M2 Mac Mini right here next to me on my desktop setup, and I've got this computer right here, the 16-inch M3 Max MacBook Pro, and it absolutely does everything very fast. It zips, it flies, but so does the M2 Mac Mini, and so does just about any current modern desktop setup. But the thing with this is when I'm actually exporting a video, so we're talking Final Cut Pro 10.7, this version was just released depending on when you are watching this video. It can actually, I'm not normally a render or export timer. I don't normally time how long it takes to export a video. All I know is that it's very quick. But say an 8-minute video that I had just put out to export in 4K, I knew it was very quick, but when I'd actually timed it, it was something like 1 minute and 52 seconds. That is 1/4 of real time to export the video. So we're talking about 4K footage, H.265 Sony footage, 4K 24p timeline, and it took it 1/4 the time. So depending on your project, that is 1/4 to 1/3 of your real time exported with this guy right here, the M3 Max. 1/3 to 1/4 of that time to export that video. To me, that's pretty darn amazing. But it's not always sunny and 72 degrees. So I had shot some sports pictures for my son. There were about 2,000 or so photo images that I was just editing through, and then I was using Pixelmator Pro. So I had 3 apps open. I had Photos, Pixelmator Pro, and Messages up. When I had this really odd error that said I had run out of memory, I closed Messages and then I got the error again, and it said it was consuming 76 gigs of memory, which was confusing because I had actually never gotten any sort of memory error, and I had an M1 Max with 32 gigs of memory and had never gotten an error, but this was the first time, and this has 48 gigs of memory when I had gotten that error, so it made me scratch my head a little bit. And then the other thing I noticed is this does run blazingly fast, so when I use a program called Catalyst Browse, this is Sony's video stabilization. If you have a compatible camera, make sure you've got your OSS turned off, or else if your optical steady shot is left on, Catalyst Browse cannot and will not stabilize. But long and short of it is, the fans actually run. So we've got an M2 Mac Mini, just a base model Mac Mini, and it does take quite a long time, where this computer, the M3 Max, can do that in a fraction. I do mean a fraction of the time, but it actually reminds me that there are fans on this machine. I actually didn't think there were fans on here, and I know there are from all the teardowns, but I never ever heard them, even in Final Cut, until running Sony Catalyst Browse. But again, it stabilizes all that footage very, very quickly. So I will 100% take that trade-off of being able to hear the fans as opposed to having them silent, but it taking longer, because once I get done with the stabilization, I stabilize all the clips I need and then import them to my Final Cut Pro project and then use them, and then I don't hear the fans again. So that was a surprise to me, was hearing the fans. You know, the one thing I totally forgot to talk about were the ports. And one of the ports I find really, really helpful is the SD card slot, and being able just to insert your card in the computer and import photos. That and the MagSafe slot I find very, very helpful, which I use pretty much all the time. You know, one of the things that never gets old is this right here, this MagSafe cable, and the way it charges. Absolutely love that sound. But overall, I want to just tell you that I am very, very happy with the computer so far. The battery life is amazing. The actual power is amazing. I love the screen size being this, with this being a 16-inch screen. What was surprising is being able to hear the fans and getting that odd memory error. So I forgot to mention that memory error went away when I closed the programs, rebooted the computer, and I've never had that memory error since, because I went back to going ahead and re-editing the photos in Pixelmator and opening up photos again, and I have not had that memory error come up. So I don't know what happened there, but that was just my experience using this computer. But overall, it's been pretty darn phenomenal. It's been a great computer for what it is. I will say maybe it's a tad bit overpowered. Maybe I was thinking to myself, maybe it wasn't when I got that memory error, but I believe it is for the everyday tasks that I do with it. I think the most demanding task I do is run Final Cut and run Sony's Catalyst Browse program. So that was my overall experience after using the M3 Max MacBook Pro 16-inch with the unbinned 16-core CPU, 40-core GPU, 1 terabyte Apple factory configuration. So far so good. It's been a good one, and hopefully this video helped you out, and depending on your needs, this is going to be a very, very powerful computer. But if this video helped you out, please hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps out our channel. And until next time, thanks for watching. Bye for now.